welcome to my life. So, I probably won't be on for too long today. I probably got about half an hour in me. Half an hour, half an hour, if not like 20 minutes. Or like half an hour, like I said. So, here is this. I found the mic that I was gifted. Let me hold up. I don't even know what to sound like. Give me one moment. Uno momento, por favor. Why am I being all silly today? I don't know. Because it's a Wednesday somewhere in the world. Girl. Hello. Hello? It's not even doing the thing. Hello. Excuse me. Uno moment, por favor. How are you doing, Holly? How are you today? Wait, now I'm so confused. I am so confused. Is this not? Are you not? Hello? Hold up. So if I listen to myself, it sounds like this. But if I don't, I'm so confused. Maybe it doesn't even matter. Is my voice normal? Because on here it's normal. So I'm assuming it's normal. Yeah, I guess it is. Anyway. Uh it's using the right mic, right? So I found the mic that I was gifted. It was exactly where I thought it should be. Um mhm. And today I saw it and I thought I'd use it, but so in the beginning it doesn't. I put on a voice modulator thing and apparently it's not working. So I was trying to compensate for the depth of the voice by going higher and apparently it doesn't even matter. But that's fine. Anyway, I'm going to use the Lenormand Gilded Reverie and the mini Gilded Tarot Royale to see what's up for the Sun transiting Gemini. So I'm going to pick one card for Sun conclusion in Taurus for the beginning of Gemini and for Gemini season overall. I'm going to pull 3 tarot for the beginning. I'm going to pull 3 for Taurus and Gemini and then 1 for what it's starting with. So I'm going to try to get right into this. There's the Crossroads card that comes out every single time. I found some mead. I was craving it. I had it last year when I went to the UK. I really wanted some when I went back. I didn't get any. I came back to America. I'm like, where's the mead? And apparently it's at the grocery store. There was like one. There was one Camelot mead, and I love it. I was gonna take pictures of the different bottles and do like a pick a bottle thing because there was like a prophecy. There were a whole bunch of different ones. I sent Eve a picture of one. I was like, look, they got Oracle juice on aisle 5 because it said prophecy. It's pretty good. It's kind of maybe not aged as long. I don't know. Anyway, it's pretty good. I got like 3 bottles because I was excited. So I'm glad I don't hate it. Um, I should probably use like the runes or the Idrisil Norse divination deck because mead in Norse mythology. But that'll be next time. Let's just get a really quick Sun in Taurus. There we go. I think I saw that card recently. The beginning of Sun in Gemini as the Sun transits into Gemini. As the Sun transits, so are the days of our lives. And then Sun in Gemini. Sun in Gemini. There we go. Oh, cute. Interesting. So we have The bridge, the coffin, and the bouquet. Bottom of the deck is the sexy lady with mice and the mountain. Um, there's an energy of anticipation here. There's an energy of anticipation here. Hopefully, it's not an energy of, I mean, I guess no judgment. It doesn't really matter. Like using one's body to compensate for something else. It's like these are worries, anxieties, little things that eat away at her. And she's like, I can just like, you know, what did Solange say? She tried to, it's cranes in the sky. Ba, 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 ba. Sun in Taurus, transiting into Gemini, Sun in Gemini. I mean, I guess you do put flowers on a casket, or you lay flowers at the graveside. There's definitely an energy of we just had it that full moon Scorpio, lunar eclipse. Um, Scorpio is about death, transformation, resurrection. Scorpio is about deep internal recognitions that have the power to impact and affect a lot to the point that it's basically like tower energy or death energy. It's like when you see it, you can't unsee it. So, three cards for the sun in Gemini, please. Let's see. All right. Hope that's way too many. I'm going to give it one more. There's one. First card out is the moon. As I was just talking about that full moon lunar eclipse. Two more. I'll give it a cut and pull the top and bottom. We have the Four of Cups and the Empress. One card for Sun and Gemini, entering Gemini. How are you doing, Holly? Ah, Cancer moon today before it transits into Leo. And Mars just entered Leo. There we go. Oh, the Four of Wands. And then three. Oh, gosh. Okay. Page of Cups is very much so ready. Two more for the Sun and Gemini. Trying to do that reader shuffle. Two more. Oh, and it fell on the floor. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is one of my, it's not really one of my, the Nine of Wands is one of the cards that I like to notice the differences in between different decks. It's not really a favorite card, but I like to see how different illustrators and deck creators depict it differently. Because the energy is mostly the same, or the circumstance is mostly the same. The situation is mostly the same, but the perspective and the approach and the circumstances can be different. Same situation, different circumstances. The situation is it is your 72nd hour of no sleep guarding the post. Are you dead, tired, beat up, bloodied, bruised circumstance? Or are you that energized, can keep going, can do this all day, barely even notice circumstance? Same situation, different circumstances. Mhm. Same. I haven't had any cat naps, but I've been exhausted. Oop, kicking the camera. All right, we got like 20 minutes. Oh, the Queen of Swords, giving me High Priestess energy. So, the overall sort of story of the sun is Sun in Taurus was a bridge to a new destination. But somewhere along the way, something is going to change dramatically and drastically, significantly. Oh, it's almost like the Oregon Trail, how you start out with however many people you have in the wagon. And throughout your journey, someone gets dysentery and dies, someone gets bitten by a snake and dies, you're fording the river and somebody falls off the wagon and dies, someone sprains an ankle and then they die. Everything leads to death in the Oregon Trail. It's like along the way. It feels like though the sun in Taurus is like we're already on this bridge. 38 and then 8. There's a difference of 30, which is the hanged man. So a change in perspective, a deep, and it's Gemini. It's entering Gemini energy, which I love. Gemini and Scorpio is an interesting combination. Um, the last moon that we had was that new moon Taurus. So the first moon we'll have is a full moon Sagittarius. Full moon Sagittarius can also give this coffin energy when the sun is in Gemini because it's almost like with the moon being in Sagittarius, there's something that we deeply recognize as factual or as very important. But with the sun being in Gemini, it's not necessarily something that we see because it feels like sun in Gemini is like you're every day at the market, in the agora or the forum or whatever, going about your day to day life. But then there's like this greater insight that you get from like listening to the people around you or from watching social dynamics, and it informs you of something that it's like it is, but it isn't necessarily observable. Or it's not necessarily something that people talk about, but you would be able to tell that it's almost like something that everyone actively avoids, which again could have that almost tower like energy. There's almost a Flussa here. So I will pull before and after Flussa because Flussa for me, for whatever reason, revealed itself as that opportunity to have a completely brand new experience, but it's not one that is forced. Flussa is platform 9 3/4. It looks like a solid brick wall, but if you have the courage to step through it, you'll find that it's actually a portal, it's actually a gateway. But to anyone else, it'll look like a dead end because it, in effect, is if you can't walk through walls. I think Sagittarius had a reading maybe a while ago that was all about permeability. That was about selective permeability. Some things can pass through, some things can't. And then the bouquet is on the other side. The bouquet can be something that's given as a gift to a lover or a loved one. It can be given for as like a graduation bouquet, or congratulations on your XYZ. Here's some flowers. It's interesting that there isn't a vase here. I mean, there isn't a vase on any bouquet card that I see really. Um, so there's no container for it. There is a note attached to it. Apple Bearer was at the top of the deck. I put it inside, started to shuffle, and it fell back out. Something that bears fruit and offerings. This is an offering, but it's not an offering Typically, it's not an offering to receive something, it's an offering of gratitude, of appreciation, or of congratulations. So it's almost like with the coffin, with that full moon Sagittarius, and this is going to happen in the season before the node shift, because I believe the node shift in July in Cancer season. It could be in Leo season. I think it's like early July though. So it's the season before a nodal shift. Definitely a bridge. Oh, and we're concluding Taurus Scorpio. Gotcha. Bottom of the deck is Elks and Dej. I'm gonna look for before and after. Who did I say? Flursa, because this is an open door that used to be closed. Um, and the thing with the bridge is it's bidirectional, but it's unidirectional. It's bidirectional because you can walk either way, but the what do you call them? Degrees of freedom are limited on a bridge. I mean, unless you jump off of the bridge, then in that case, you're not on the bridge, so does it even matter? Um, but usually, it's like on the bridge, you can move forward or you can move backward. If you move left, like you'll hit a wall, or left will either be forward or backward, which simplifies a polarity. I already forgot who I was looking for again. Flissa, there you are. Interesting. It was the top. It was the third card from the top. I pulled from the bottom, so it took me a while to find. Um, we have the title card of Attribution with Wackened Animal Watcher Totem. And on the other side of Wackened is the title card of Thanks. So there's the two title cards of the Lafruma this close to Flusa. 64, 67. Um, this feels like it's in the fog. I was gonna pull the Nine Realms, or I don't know why I was gonna pull like Niflheim, the realm of fog. But it feels like it's in the middle of the fog. It's almost like when you're in a dream. And like when you go to bed and when you dream, you're just there. You don't necessarily know how you got there, and you don't necessarily know where you're going, which is very symbolic of life. And I guess you can see some mist more so in the back on that spire. There you go. And even the coffin is kind of misty. There's something that watches and waits on the other side. This Wacken makes me think of the wolf that was deep in the veil when I went looking for the Watchers. I combined the wild unknown, tarot, and animal spirits, and I looked for all of the owls. And the wolf isn't an owl, but for some reason the wolf caught my attention. And it was like, again, it was deep in the veil. I mean, I guess if you make it to the wolf, then yeah, the wolf would be the one that gives you your flowers. Whoever this watcher is on the other side as a congratulatory, and that's the Four of Wands too. The Four of Wands can symbolize marriage, but sort of extrapolated, it's just a milestone that incorporates some celebration. Marriage is one of them. Graduations are one. Your first house, your first step. And this is the card that came out to clarify the coffin, the 8 and the 4. It's a celebration that is it's a milestone marker in a way that it separates two different periods of life. With the marriage, it's like you're single up until that point and then you're married after that. So it's like it's because two fours is an eight, right? That's where I'm getting this from. Um, the Four of Cups also made an appearance. The Four of Cups is right here with the sun in Taurus, with the sun in Taurus. And it feels like right on the other side of that wall, of that door, is this guardian waiting to give you your flowers. It feels like Phanuel, the angel of truth that sits at the throne waiting for your arrival, waiting for you to recognize something or whatever, right? It's like death is the rebirth. It's like how people say that the light at the end of the tunnel is the world, basically. The tunnel is the birth canal. So as you die in one life, you're being reborn into the next. Apple Bearer, again, it did come out. So it's like there's a lot to be offered. Oh my gosh, it is 555. I looked at 523 and I was like, oh, that's 55. I didn't catch that it was also 2023. And it's interesting because I was talking to one of my buddies yesterday and he was like, there were like keywords to something that would have gotten the algorithm to generate something. And he was like, you don't search any other keywords. So I'm not surprised that this hasn't come across your awareness. And he was like, like fives, like 555. And that'd be hilarious if you knew what the thing was. And today is 555. Um, but yeah, it's almost like eyes through the wall, like on the wall, like a painting that came out, what, yesterday? How Mona Lisa follows you. There's a lot being offered. There's a lot being freely given as like a congratulatory, almost like how like if you have a bridal shower or a baby shower or a housewarming party to celebrate that milestone, people bring you things that you will need in your new life. So if it's a baby shower, they'll probably give you like diapers and bottles and maybe formula if you don't breastfeed and other things that you'll need as you take care of the baby. If it's a bridal shower, it'll be like, I don't know if you're gonna move in with somebody else, stuff that you could use in your new place, or I don't know what people give people for bridal showers. I was with my grandma and she was like telling me stuff that no grandson should. She was like, when you go to a bridal shower, usually you give somebody something sexy, like you gift the bride lingerie and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, why? So she can look good for her new man or something. Anyway, and like with graduation and housewarmings, like it's something that is suitable to the phase that you're moving into. And it's being freely offered with Apple Bear. But it's also somewhat the energy of like the fruit of your labor because you completed this thing because you saw to it to tend to the garden. Now you get to eat the fruits and veggies. Now, the clarifier story is there were things with the moon, the Four of Cups and the Empress. It's almost like more so with the moon and the Four of Cups, it's almost like under this bridge or on this bridge of Sun and Taurus, there were things that you may have been rejecting or opportunities that you weren't necessarily taking because you didn't see them or because there wasn't any way to know. It's almost like the fog was so thick that even as this person is staring right at the cup, they still couldn't see it. And so they created, so they activated this Empress energy. This Empress energy is interesting because of the glyph of Venus that's so huge. It's almost like there's this cyclic nature to things. It's also like it's a steering wheel and she's like grabbing it at 10 and 2 to drive. Um but there's this greater recognition or this greater view of a situation, and there's this point at which it's almost like it all comes together, or there's this point at which things flourish, and she reaches that point. Now again, maybe the congratulatory energy is like, what was it? Those who find their way out of the fog before it lifts will those who navigate out of the fog before it lifts will find themselves in a space of mastery. I can force it to focus. And then it comes into the Four of Wands. Then it's the celebration of this person attaining or achieving. Maybe too, this was something that was offered, but something about it didn't feel right. Maybe your intuition or discernment told you to go another way, and you didn't necessarily know why. Maybe after you didn't take it, you were like, oh, it would have been so much easier if I would have. But it's almost like a quinceañera when a girl becomes a woman, or a bat mitzvah when a bar mitzvah when a boy becomes a man. These, like, it's a milestone celebration that denotes like the end of childhood and the beginning of adulthood, or an initiation into adulthood. And then we have the Page of Cups, the Seven of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. The Page of Cups, this is interesting. It feels like it's not falling prey to flattery or silver-tongued foxes, you know? It's almost like at this point, anyone with eyes will recognize something and will try to benefit, monetize, get in on the good stuff. And it's not necessarily like, because it's just like, of course, it isn't necessarily maliciously intended. It's just like, oh, that something, like, there's movement, there's growth over, there's opportunity over there. Let me go see if I can cash in on it. Being the one giving the opportunity, or being the one in a position of being recognized and having so many come, then it's like, of course, you're going to feel a certain type of way. But it's almost like it would be foolish to a lot of people to not even try, to not even approach, to not even whatever. I think too in this, it's almost like as we're shifting into spring, or as all of these offerings begin to come in, as these suitors and opportunities begin to approach with the Seven of Cups energy, if you continue to follow what feels good, if you continue to follow your heart, if you continue to be led and guided, you'll be able to navigate through it with relatively minimal distractions, disturbances, or delays. And there's something about this Queen of Swords that's feeling like the High Priestess, because the curtain is parted. I feel like this also begins to play into that full moon Sagittarius energy. Like how I was talking about Sun and Gemini being us, everything in like our day to day lives being illuminated, everything interpersonally within whatever community we find ourselves in. That's where the Sun is. But with the moon, it's not as, it doesn't have to be as dark, but it is an energy of like the underbelly of society. Again, it's not necessarily the underbelly because it doesn't have to be dark, but it's the strings being pulled behind the scenes. It's the knowing of not necessarily what goes on behind closed doors, but it's like potential motivators for people. And again, like being mindful of the intentions and motives of others. But with the Queen of Swords, there's a knowing. And it's interesting that we start with the moon and we end with the Queen of Swords. We end with the Queen of Swords that feels like having a knowing in an arena that previously only the High Priestess had an awareness of. But again, here are the curtains are parted, and it feels like the sun is beginning to rise, like the sun is coming out in the background of this Queen of Swords. Interesting. There was a card that came out, or there was a saying, or there was something that said something along the lines. It might have been an I Ching. It was something along the lines of having a knowledge of like what people, I think it was actually an archetype. It was like it knows what people want, or it has access to what people want. And it was almost like be mindful that you don't misuse it or whatever. It's almost like that energy. But there you go. We're gonna get some quick final cards. I probably have about 5 to 10 more minutes before I have to end this. If it ends abruptly, it ends abruptly. It is what it is. All right, Lafruma, what is the last thing? Let me take a swig or swill of mead. Oh, Aethel, birthright with hell, returning light. This to me, because hell is frozen in Norse mythology, it feels like it's the thawing of something that was frozen in hell. It's like, again, something with this bridge as you navigate, I had this thought earlier about like Semyaza. As you navigate your path in a way that warms you up, it's like as you shine on your path, there's something corresponding that is yours but displaced that also warms up. And when it gets warm enough, it thaws out. And when it's thawed, it no longer has a place in hell. It's like hell rejects it because it's a frozen place. In order to keep the rest of hell from melting, it will reject it. It'll evacuate it. And then it will find its way to you. What does that mean? I don't know. What defines you? Your family, their possessions, or all they leave to you through inheritance? Is that estate fated to define you from birth, written into your body codes? Or will you seek your original birthright, move past all that falsely defines you, and find the full truth of thyself? What frequency is the true you? Claim that. Okay, and then we're gonna get the little mini. I think there's a gift in not being given a certain answer. There is something that you will find through having found your own way, some strength that you uncover, or some character that a hard day's work has built within you that will help you get whatever insight that Queen of Swords easier. It'll help you recognize the illusion of Flirsa, that something is a dead end, and it'll help you see it as the portal, as the gateway, as the point I mean, it kind of sort of is an illusion, isn't an illusion, because again, with the coffin and with that Four of Wands, it's the celebration of the end of one phase, but it's simultaneously the beginning of another. So it is a dead end. There is nothing beyond that for the person that you were before you reached that moment. And that is rock bottom for the starting point for who you will be after you step through it. So the coffin is appropriate. But, no one's gonna bury you and put you 6 feet under. All right. I should have taken that card, but it's fine. Oh, last card. We have the Nine of Cups. All that you wish for, all that you desire. And it fell out right on top of the bridge. Something about the Page of Cups with that Seven of Cups makes desire an unlikely ally, but it's to not become enslaved by it. Because then that will turn it into the foe that it can so easily be. Bottom of the deck is the Magician. The Magician with the Nine of Cups, it's almost this like there's something that your desire creates. The wand is one of the elements, is one of the tools that the magician has to use, just as well as the cup is. And when used in their proper way, they become very, very, very beneficial, or they make completing the work a lot easier. But again, if that can't be done, then they can become the greatest distractors and detractors. There's something uncompromising because, again, with the mice and the sexy woman, there was an energy of trying to ease along a process with trying to seduce something rather than to just recognize that another approach might need to be taken. Again, that's like the moon with the Four of Cups that led to the Empress. All right, two cards. There's one, the bouquet again. And oh gosh. The tower turned upright. The snake came out and knocked a card on the floor. Bottom of the deck is the star and the bear. Something is like slowly following that north star. It's 15, 16. That's a step. And then we have the not sexy woman. We have the Empress energy here, who's like, take your time, I'll wait. I need not throw my body at something. I need not throw my weight around in this situation. I need not compromise myself to make something happen. I need not convince someone or something else of a worth that I already know to be true. And if that person, place, job, or thing doesn't recognize my worth, then that wouldn't have worked out anyway. Oh. The card that fell to the floor is the child. The snake and the child. This feels like deceptive circumstance. Uh, it can be deceptive circumstance. This also feels like it's like something that we may view as it's something that may be desired, but it's something that like comes with a lot of difficulty. It comes with a lot of challenge through the like just through virtue of what it is. To start something, to build something, to create something, to birth something, to bring something into existence, and to care for it until the point at which it can care for itself requires time, energy, work, and effort. It feels like this tower has a lot of the tarot tower meaning in it, as far as like something that comes along and completely changes one's life. And if one isn't prepared for their life to be changed, it can feel unfortunate. But where this tower doesn't feel like the tarot tower is that it actually builds a foundation rather than destroys one. So it feels like it has a lot of the same feelings that a tarot tower might have, but this one is more, again, about building than it is tearing down. And with that, I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And until next time,